February 9th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 11:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There is only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you? But why? What made you go out to the Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that's a lot of chains. That's a lot of locks. Iris, I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte? Huh. She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Dunim? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought, no psycholock. Very well, it is my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Alright, 20 minutes later, back in court.
Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where's the witness?
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in gallery.
Suspicious behavior?
He was sketching something very intensely.
Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained?
He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip.
I can only presume his intention was to capture you.
Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for artists before the court. Loris Dunim, I hope you are ready. Get in here.
It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Oof!
Your sketch is in contempt of this court.
Hey, I was just artistically
You tried to run away from bailiff who was trying to hand you a subpoena, correct?
Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist, training out in the mountains. I'm only down here to the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it?
Working in the fields?
I presume he wanted to say field work. I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. Well, I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So you see, I got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Or, to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch!
Stop with your pathetic babbling and testify like a man.
Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now.
This is almost too much for me. I didn't even tell him what to testify about yet. I was at the lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked out to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't meet anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up, and my teacher died on me. I'm all alone now, aren't I? Edgy.
Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony.
I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else?
Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex.
He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Savage. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything. Case closed. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy.
Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination, with no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time.
What I saw. Okay. I was at the lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night.
Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth?
This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse.
So, witness, any idea as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may let my whip have its way.
Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. The rundown shack is hardly a lodge, isn't it? And even if the stars could be seen, it isn't like I was there to look at them, right?
See? You can do it if you try.
Ouch!
There's only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge.
I walked to the bridge a number of times, but... A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night. You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands.
Love, you say?
It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to this small shack using this blackmail letter.
Blackmail?
No, that was simply a product of overflowing love.
You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness.
So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness, eh?
Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. I didn't see a snowmobile. BS. Larry, you really didn't see it? Hey! No need to hit your desk! I can hear you! I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile? If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up! What is this? I don't know, don't ask me! Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that'll finally get him to spill the beans. I'll press the last statement before I do anything else. You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I got nothing to do with this. And I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those crimson leg faces, now.
It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth.
Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this until the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep moving along. Okay, so let's take a look at our evidence real quick and get a nice little refresher. The victim's staff, carried by Elise Dunim when she was alive, has her fingerprints on it. The Shichishito has the apparent... Also, let's take note. Type other found in the temple courtyard. Type weapon found in the Hazakura temple courtyard. Has apparent murder weapon, or the apparent murder weapon, has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. The hanging scroll of Misty Fae. Iris's hood received before the lights out bell the night of the crime, right around 10 p.m. Phoenix Wright received it, not Edgeworth. Protects from evil spirits. Found in the main hall, maybe she dropped it. Touch the check button for details. The blackmail note. To Iris of Hazakura Temple, salutation here. There is something I must talk to you about. I'll be waiting for you tonight at 10 at Heavenly Hall. Make sure you come unless you want your secret to be exposed. The temple map, including the Heavenly Hall location. Received by Elise Dunim. The weather data. It was lightning-ing around 10 to 11. Struck the bridge at 10:45. Around 30 minutes passed before the fire started and went out. Then we got the Occult New Year's issue, the magazine which led us to this place. The photo of Elise Dunim, back when she still had a little pink or purple amethyst on her wizard stick. And Iris's testimony. Rang lights out bell at 10 p.m. and was in her room until the murder was discovered. Which one? Okay, so the Lodge looking up, he calls out his own contradictions here, and I don't have any evidence that directly goes against it. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't meet anyone at the bridge that night. The only thing wrong with this is that this is tricky, because we know for a fact that he met Phoenix that night before Phoenix fell into the river. But Edgeworth doesn't know that, maybe? I don't know if this will work. I'm going to give it a shot. Oh, sick. It worked. Larry Buttz. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me?
It certainly doesn't sound that way to me.
However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. What? You're totally pinning this on me! Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Buttz. That's right. Me in the flesh.
Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change.
But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. What you saw that night. Testify truthfully. That is all you can do now. Edgy. I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping, but anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well.
I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder?
What I saw, part 2. I went to the shack around 9, so it would have been around 10:30. I was lying under my bed and when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick.
You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you?
So what happened to Bridge after it catch on fire?
It was like me after a 3-day stint of chasing a girl. It totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall.
What did you say?
Oh, don't worry. Nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold.
As always, hard to know if he should be called lucky or unlucky.
Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
All right. Commence the cross-examination. Went to the shack around 9, so it would have been around 10:30. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
I set the meeting time as 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too. Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end.
Because they never arranged to meet in first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart! Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost the way, so every 20 minutes or so I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bed when a white flash almost blinded me. This light was, of course, lightning. Like kerpow! Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A big bada boom. Ugh!
Or a little like that?
Ugh, that's more like a punch from Miranda.
Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge?
Well, I was a little startled by the flash of light, so I looked out to the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart.
And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge?
Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind.
I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, Witness.
There was still some thunder, but I went to check it out right away. You said right away. But exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught fire, maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out.
How far is this small shack you were in from bridge?
Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing, I guess about a 5-minute walk. And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compete. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Yeah. So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge. Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so? Well, yeah, I guess it does. I was really cold, and I didn't want to go out there. If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning.
In which case, please give testimony to that effect, Witness.
My reasoning? Okay. Reasoning it is. I thought I'd never get a chance to see something so big burning. So you decided to go and see what was happening? That's right! We're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. That's not something you see every day. A real like, really special. Can we really trust a witness who is unable to pronounce spectacle?
Life seems to love hitting the poor witness below the belt.
Well, my motto is to hit life back as hard as I can. Ah!
I'll give you a few hits too if you like. With my whip.
He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. Okay, so we gotta find, let's see if I can get more testimony from this one again. Press on the other side of the fence here. Why didn't you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with that serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Eh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone. There is a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that.
So then, let's hear why you didn't.
Huh? Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later.
Hold it!
You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright? Yeah, pretty much. I thought I'd better tell someone about this, but then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease.
It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less. He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. Okay. I want to recheck the weather data. Lightning from approximately 10 to 11. Struck the bridge at 10:45. 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. It seems that his account of the story... Okay. So it would have been around 10:30. And the lightning started at 10 to 11. So yeah, the lightning at 10:45. He's not accounting for 10 minutes here because this says the bridge was on fire only after 10 minutes after he got there. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Went to the shack at around 9. What time was the murder at, again? Where's the autopsy report? Do I have an autopsy report? Yeah, right here. 10 to 11. What time did Phoenix Wright find the crime scene? I can't remember when Phoenix Wright found the crime scene. Because his times aren't adding up here. He says 10:30, 5 minutes to get to the bridge, and Phoenix Wright shows up a minute later. That puts Phoenix Wright at the phone at 10:36, 10:37. Meanwhile, the lightning struck the bridge at 10:45. He had to show up after that. So Larry has to be lying here. Excuse me. I don't know the exact... I think Phoenix Wright found the murder at 11. I wish I had the exact facts here. That's what sucks about playing this game not in the same day. I just kind of forget a little bit, you know? Nick showed up less than a minute later. The bridge shouldn't have even been on fire at that point. I'm trying it. Yes! Your very existence being a contradiction, I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge and immediately went to see what happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at about 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his Fallen act. That is impossible.
What do you mean?
11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge until that time. Or until after that time. Excuse me, I have an objection.
You do?
Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurice Dunim.
It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11, in which case it could have been earlier than that.
Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. But there's still no way that Wright could have been at the Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m.
And why not?
It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m.
Which means what exactly?
Wright did not see the bridge as it was burning that night. He did not arrive there until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m. Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. Are you still trying to hide something from us? What happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just woke up. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Pinch me.
Order in my court, eh?
So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright? I hardly see that as much of a problem.
Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes and there's a phone right next to it. Why then did you not report the accident?
Did you simply watch the bridge burn?
That's the problem here. Even after the bridge burnt out, he was still there. He simply stood there and didn't report anything.
That is what it sounds like.
This might be Larry we are talking about, but even he is incapable of being so stupid. There has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy. I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time.
Then say it!
Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness?
15 missing minutes. I'm a Dunim. I'm an artist. What did you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. Oh my god, I hate this guy so much.
I suppose artists can be strange folk.
That's right! I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sounds of it.
Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts?
Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains.
And what would that be?
This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy. You'll regret this. Where's the sketch then? I want to see it. The burning bridge? You were sketching it? The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is...
Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours already, witness.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean.
That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth.
What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling about the instant this sketch is revealed. The entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. No, I want to see it. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please. Well, well. Even I couldn't have imagined it'd turn out like this. Imagined what? That Laurice Denim's debut would take place here. Today, like this. Ouch!
Show it.
Show it now!
Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the work of Laurice Denim. Oh, geez. There's a person. There's a person in that sketch falling off the flaming bridge.
Well... So this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma?
Yes. Well... It's better drawing than I expected.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce these flames. I really did.
Yes, I'm sure you did.
This is going to get ugly. No one has the bravery to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object? Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate looking figure? Ah, you spotted that. I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris! I wish she'd taken better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know? What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please. Answer the next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep. And that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist. A real artist.
You?
High? The girl. She's really high up in the picture. What was that for?
This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on cheek to test that theory.
Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly.
Actually, there is some precedent for this.
She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see.
This has to be some kind of mistake. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth.
What? Me?
This witness is your friend, is he not?
Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth.
Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here.
Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut piece?
Get that thing away from me!
Oh, God.
Now, hurry up and cross-examine him.
Okay, well, we got a contradiction here. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you the whole dollar that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain.
What might that be?
The person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. Ugh.
A foolhardily fooling of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim?
Tell us, Larry, according to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw is wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite a way up from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. What?
It seems there are bigger fools in the world than the one at the fence's bench.
Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why did Nick have Iris's hood? Huh? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick! You dog!
I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage.
Oh!
What is it now, witness?
It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to stupefy you. What?
What is the meaning of your outburst, witness?
I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive?
Evidence?
Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Maurice Dunim, shall prove it.
I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once more. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality.
Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. Proof that Iris flew. When I reached the dusky bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried. I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding the beautiful crystal sphere, half buried into snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost the crystal sphere that night. What?
A crystal sphere?
This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers, it has blood on it too. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh look, the victim's staff is missing its purple amethyst. Oh look. Oh. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers.
That sphere. Where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere. Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge.
The court accepts this crystal sphere.
That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards.
There's something on it, isn't there? Oh my. It's a bloodstain.
What? A bloodstain? You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Maurice Denim only a few minutes ago? Proof that Iris flew. When I reached the dusky bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried. I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere half buried into snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. Okay, let's, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. I gotta go for it. Larry. That night, there was someone else who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who is this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Dunim, the mentor to a stupid idiot.
The victim?
I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, as you can see, there is a familiar looking crystal sphere. Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch.
A crystal sphere like this is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch.
They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime.
Oh, the crystal sphere, it's gone.
What? What? Nani?
Just what does this mean?
If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris after all. She was not wearing her hood, and more importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either.
Then that means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Dunim?
Oh! A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected.
You can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes.
And this crystal sphere is nothing more than red herring.
You honestly believe that?
Give it some thought and I'm sure you will realize it as well, Miss Miles Edgeworth. Elise Dunim was in her room on night of murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to the case. That is all.
Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere found near the bridge on the night of the murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case?
That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after murder.
After the murder?
There is blood on crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after murder took place. The killer placed it there in order to throw the investigation off scent. The same reason he drew that ridiculous sketch.
Oh shit, she's accusing Larry? What? You mean I'm the killer? No way!
Enough joking. Just when did this crystal sphere appear next to the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case.
She makes a valid point. There's no evidence that Elise Dunim left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely.
Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then the witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time.
Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth.
Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Oh, I think I have... Let's investigate. The sphere was right on that blue dot. The weather data... Where's the crime scene photo? If the crime scene photo has an empty staff in it, I see the Shichishito. She doesn't... Oh, wait, hold on. Is that her stick in the photo in the top left? Or is that... I can't really tell. I feel like if her stick was in the photo, they'd make it very well known. Drop before the murder took place. Murder took place at around 11. And the snow, the weather data, it stopped snowing at 11 or at 10:50. And it was partially covered in snow, but not fully. So it would have had to have been there for at least a little bit. During snow. So it had to have been dropped before 10:50. If the murder took place at 11, then I think we're safe to say that yes, I can. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case.
You will do what?
That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered.
That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered.
I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder.
The weather data is my... Oh, dang it.
Your response, Miss Von Karma?
Birds of a feather flock together. Are you familiar with this phrase, Miles Edgeworth? I think one such bird is calling for its fellow now.
Go, go, Edgy! Do it! Prove it! Win, win, win! His cheering. It's as though I'm listening to the ominous claws of ravens. Cause.
So, Mr. Edgeworth, what will you do from here?
One more chance, Your Honor. I can't turn back after coming all this way. The time of the murder and when the crystal sphere was dropped. I need to find proof that the latter happened first. Okay, let's look at some more evidence then. Found half covered in snow in the dusky bridge. The night of the crime has blood on it. I guess being found half covered also kind of proves it. So the sphere seems like an option. The sketch, it can't be it. The photo of the tracks seems unlikely. The crime photo... I can't see any way the crime photo proves it. Unless her staff is in the photo, but I don't see it. I think the crystal sphere. Come on. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear.
What?
When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly.
Snowing?
On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body.
Oh.
Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder.
What?
Order! Order!
On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to the dusky bridge, and there, something occurred that caused the crystal sphere to come loose.
What could that have been?
This sphere, there's some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge.
Objection!
didn't take place in Hazakura Temple courtyard? Only fool would suggest such foolish piece of absolute foolishness.
And just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma?
Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw victim being killed by defendant in Hazakura Temple courtyard.
That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body.
That is same thing!
No, it isn't. You said it yourself.
Very little blood actually lost at moment of blade insertion. If you want to talk about when most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when blade is removed.
If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily have been the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding.
Oh, you are forgetting one vital thing, Mr. Edgeworth. At least Tunim body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura. You mean to suggest someone carry body all that way?
Snowmobile, dude. I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I need to prove the possibility it happened as I presume.
Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple.
Tracks photo. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body.
Oh, order in my court.
Oh, this is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You dig yourself into your own grave.
What do you mean?
The only one who could have used snowmobile was defendant. She is the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put your final nail in coffin?
You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation.
What?
Where was the victim, Elise Dunim, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean?
Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature would never see the truth, let alone describe it.
This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy, thank you.
That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict until these circumstances.
Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner.
Excuse me?
There was one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case and pass it on to Wright. Really? That's what this is all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had a frenzy whooping me all this time.
Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel.
A shame that your chance seems to have slipped by you. What a shame. Franzi!
This all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are an affront to all of the legal system. I demand satisfaction.
Perfectly acceptable. Perfectly acceptable courtroom behavior.
I cannot believe that this witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answers for the questions it raises. Have his words today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I'm counting on thorough investigation by both the defense and the prosecution.
And with this, the rest is up to you, Wright. Court
Court is now adjourned.